Thanks very much. Thanks, Kerry, thanks very much for inviting me along to talk today. And it's, I say it's really nice to see so many familiar faces out here in the audience. So, thank you. Yeah, so we're in our 20th year this year, so I thought probably it would be appropriate to talk about 20 years at Logan Brown. The highs, a few lows, but also the importance of vision throughout. So we opened Logan Brown Restaurant on Friday the 13th, Black Friday 1996. There's the old building before we moved in. So we didn't open on that day for business, we opened for a party to celebrate getting there, but also to thank all our friends and family and the builders who put the building together in just a matter of 10 weeks. So health and safety in those days wasn't as it is today, and you can, I remember the boys cutting the concrete in their jandals and with the concrete grinders, and there's the project manager's son climbing on top of the pillars there. But what I remember vividly that time on that Friday the 13th is just before we opened for our party, Brownie and I were standing in the dining room, and the builders had just finished cleaning up. All the team were out the back having a staff meal, and we're just standing in the dining room and we're just in awe of what a beautiful space we'd created. And we just enjoyed that little quiet moment, and we thought, wow, we've done it. We're so buggered after all this time, and we felt like we'd made it. But in hindsight, actually, little did we know that was just the easy part of the journey. So, even though we opened it just took 10 weeks to physically open the building from the time we got possession. Al and I had been working on Logan Brown for at least a year before. We'd never marketing plan. We didn't really have any budgets or anything like that. But we did have a crystal clear vision of what kind of experience we wanted our guests to have, and we knew how we wanted our team to behave, what their expectations were, and what their expectations of us should be. We wanted a top quality dining experience on an international kind of scale, sort of restaurant that would be comfortable in Manhattan or London or Sydney. But our version was going to be on Cuba Street, a little seedy red light district with more shops closed and open. But it was something New Zealand hadn't seen before. Because of the area we'd chosen, and even though it was a bank, no bank would back us, so I guess I was just getting out of there. That's how come we got the bank. But I sold my house, and we all borrowed money from family, and we backed each other's experience and our passion and our friendship and got stuck in. We never had any second thoughts, actually. But so our vision was to take the standard of dining to a higher and more preferred level. And it was an internal vision, of course, but I guess why it was more preferred is because I think most of the restaurants in those days were of the more fine dining end. High quality ones were small little restaurants, maybe 30 or 40 seaters, and the chef owner was out the back and the manager up front. It was quite a formal sort of a dining experience, and they probably only open 5 nights a week, and that's about it. So we wanted to open a restaurant 7 nights a week and have very loud and vibrant, but still really high quality, but an informal environment, just chilled, and so you have a lot of laughter on all the tables and that sort of thing. So, and we thought that was much more appealing to the New Zealanders, you know, with us being informal, relaxed people we are. And so we wanted to make the most of New Zealand's great produce and make New Zealanders proud of New Zealand's cuisine. The first few months were complete havoc because we wanted to get that Christmas crowd, but we weren't really ready for them. Brownie had hand-picked an awesome kitchen team, but we kind of overlooked the front of house team, so we ended up with a bunch of misfits, to be honest, and there was things being dropped and crashed everywhere. Some of them turned up booze for work, and it was just quite a nightmare. But luckily we had a really strong front of house management team, and we managed to weed them out and get going, and we traded really well. And we sold lots of exotic wines and cocktails, and the after dinner drinks and cigar trolley was whisked from table to table all the way through into the night. So, I think I missed a photo there, but that's the dining room, what it looked like. It was the bank in the old days, hideous colours, and Ellen and I enjoyed a cigarette and a wine, and that was pretty excited about creating that space. So 10 weeks later we had Logan Brown Restaurant. And that's the team, that's not the Misfits, that's the ones that actually was a pretty A team pretty soon after, about 2 or 3 months after we started. So just 6 months later, disaster struck. Logan Brown was acclaimed New Zealand's best restaurant by Michael Guy's Eating Out magazine, and while it was an incredible accolade, we really didn't think we deserved it. We thought we were extremely lucky to get that. I remember Brownie in particular was, he was almost upset about it, and I wasn't quite sure why, but we got over it, and we, with all the team, drank the bar dry of champagne right that night. But a few years later, I realised Gut's feeling was correct, and that's why I say it was a bit of a disaster in many respects. Being acclaimed the best did make us relax a little bit. Although we still had an eye on the ball as far as what happened in the kitchen and dining room, we kind of didn't look too further than a week or two ahead. And even though the publicity was great, I guess we got labelled with that. We got pushed up into the fine dining end of the market, which is a space we really wanted to avoid. But because we were trading well and all the accolades were there, and it was great for our ego, we really didn't do anything about it. We just enjoyed being busy. And as I said, we got that label, that fine dining negativity, which is about expensive and formal and just for special occasion. And I guess over the years, we've always had to come and battle that all through the years. So unfortunately, over the next few years, our turnover did start to slide, I think partly because of the Asian economic downturn, but also we allowed ourselves to be that temple of fine dining. And that's exactly the sort of place prudent Wellingtonians wouldn't want to go to. We're not flashy Aucklanders and want to be looking at flash places all the time. And the businesses and corporates and government, they don't want to be seen there in Logan Brown wasting taxpayers' monies or the shareholders' funds and so forth. So that really went against us. But at the end of 1999, we realised we had to make some fast and definite changes. That's the old dining room there. Well, we had a pretty good idea of what was wrong with Logan Brown Restaurant. We did get some expert help, and we had a qualitative survey into where Logan Brown was at in the market and what people thought of it, obviously. And we got some brutal independent feedback and confirming our thoughts. And then we started to plan a bit of a revolution again, and we called it Logan Brown Loosens Its Tie. We need to go back to our original vision, which we'd steered away from, or which we'd evolved away from. So we planned to make physical and attitudinal changes to our restaurant. We persuaded the bank to lend us some money to pay for our physical changes, and with that money we paid all the bills we owed. And we sold our cars and our life insurance policies, and we borrowed more money from our families who would only just pay back, and that was to pay for the fit out. So what we did is physical changes. We removed a reception counter. You can see it right at the front. That reception counter was right at the front entrance, and we realised when people came into this pretty intimidating building already, walked up the steps and got confronted by that reception counter we had, and we had this maitre d' Francois there, and he was a very austere looking guy with a thick accent, said, "Good evening, ladies and gentlemen." There's no offence, Olivia. Yeah. and people got a bit, that was intimidating for them, so we moved that aside. We had a bar right down the back of the dining room, and we got rid of that, and we created a real funky cocktail bar at the front there, you can see, with a wine library and a saltwater fish tank on top, and even the most boring accountant, likes to see little fishes swimming around. And so it just deformalised that experience a little bit. And also the guests could just stroll right through into the dining room without having to stop in and check in with anyone. They could meet their friends in the bar there and have a drink before they sit down. We changed lots of colours, and we had the colours there before were green leatherette and white tablecloths, and we were sort of like an old boys club feel to it, so we brought in different colours and textures to soften up and feminise it a little bit. And then we changed uniform, and we changed our logo. You can see the old logo there. And we got rid of old terminology like serious about food. You know, we were really serious about putting out an awesome meal on the plate, great ingredients and everything, but we didn't want it to be a serious thing. We want it to be fun. And also, you've got their elegant dining room. Well, that's a bit of a put off as well. You know, ladies need to put their best shoes on and, you know, their mind anyway. So we needed to, we got rid of that kind of terminology. And then we changed the logo there. We put the martini glass in the middle to, you know, make it a bit more bar orientated. And then we worked on PR. We tried to change everyone's language away from the temple of fine dining and that kind of thing. And eventually it started working when Metro magazine said excellence gives Logan Brown its class, not snobbery, and that's kind of what we're always after. So around this time we regrouped and had a look at our values that sort of held up Logan Brown. And because we felt we really narrowly avoided disaster there, and one of those statistics that restaurants closed down in the first year, and we still share a version of these values today. And there you go. One of those ones is continuous improvement, no resting on our laurels and keeping ahead of the pack. So that's the third one down there. And that's probably a value I should have got tattooed across my forehead, because either it was written down, we didn't always live that. Anyway, so from 2000 to 2004, we're back on track, and our vision was up front, and we had a great team and traded very well in a steady economy. We paid off all our loans, and were able to devote some time to extending our brand in other ways. So just 4 years after getting back on track, we'd again veer away from our vision. First, we looked at developing brands of chutneys and relishes. A lot of those, our brownie had a real sweet tooth, and so we had a lot of chutneys and relishes, a beautiful beetroot relish or a cherry relish. There's always, meats would always come with some, one of those types of things. So we thought we'd get them in jars and sell them all the way through the supermarkets. And we didn't want to have a cottage industry type thing that would be just just sold in delicatessens. We want to go nationwide. We always thought big. But after investigating third parties and going to supermarkets, we realised that after a probably good year looking into it, that we weren't going to be able to get the price points and have the quality we wanted to sell. So then we moved on from that, and we invented a barbecue tool belt. It's the original grill slinger. So this is like a culinary belt, but for barbecues, and it has got all the tools there right around your waist like Batman, and a spatula, knife and tongs and spaces for all the other bits and pieces. So we created this and designed it with some experts in Wellington, and we got it manufactured in China, and then we took it into the markets in USA and Europe and Australia and UK. And it was a hell of a journey and a lot of fun, and we travelled a lot, and we definitely loved the creative part of it, and even experiencing overseas in the markets and selling them. But what we did, you know, while we enjoyed that part of it, we did realise we're short of a lot of skills there. And in hindsight, we probably should have shared the project with some experts. But anyway, it was a 3-year journey, and we learned a heck of a lot of it. A lot about it. We learnt a lot of things, but we ended up with, at the end of the day, not moving our business forward at all. So it was, once again, we strayed from our vision and didn't end up really anything financially positive out of it. Just a lot of laughs in Vegas at markets there, at shows there and so forth. So, but in 2005, we had a new and exciting opportunity, anyway, that did bring us back, luckily, to our vision. So it wasn't like something we was in design, but it just happened, really. But I guess we wouldn't have got the opportunity if we weren't in that space. So that was The Hunger for the Wild. It was a TV show about cooking and travel, and getting out to the small places in New Zealand and meeting the wonderful people there, and learning these stories, and cooking and hunting and gathering, and just, I guess, through our eyes, New Zealanders could experience a great side of New Zealand. And we did 27 episodes over 3 years. We travelled around in Brownie's old Holden Premier, and we had a lot of laughs and great experience. But what was really good for our business, it was very much in keeping with our vision and our values. People could see us, we're just regular Kiwi blokes, and we loved New Zealand for its people, but also for the places and the produce that we can get, and whether it be wild or not, and so we're sharing that with the people. They could see Logan Brown in the true light it was, and look past that, that stigma of being a fine dining restaurant. And today we still get plenty of diners who are Hunger for Wild fans, and they come from anywhere around the country and say, I always wanted to come here because I saw Hunger for the Wild, and that's pretty cool. So early in 2008, Al stepped out of the operation. He sold some of his shares to Debbie Jones and Sean Cluson, their long-time team members, senior team members. He wanted time and space to work on his own projects and writing some amazing cookbooks and doing consultancy. And while we missed his incredible talent and passion and his friendship on a day-to-day basis, so we're lucky we had a very strong team and who lived and breathed our values and vision, and we continued to thrive. In 2008, we reviewed our vision to take the standard dining to a higher and more preferred level. We wanted a vision to reflect that our business was all about people. It's about our guests, about our team, it's about the community we existed in, and the suppliers, of course, and also the environment we work in. So we wanted people to be, all those groups to be inspired, the care that we take in everything we do. And so it was, in short, the vision was product perfection, inspiring people. And in 2009, Logan Brown Restaurant won Cuisine Magazine's Supreme Restaurant of the Year. And we were totally amazed and surprised at this. We'd long ago given up expecting to, or hoping to win any award, because we've been the bridesmaids so often over so many years. But it was unlike the first time we got it, was a very well-deserved award, because we did have very high standards, and we did have great team who were very passionate and they're experts, and they could deliver that experience consistently day in, day out. And so, and just in doing that day to day, it got recognised finally, and we would have been judged 4 times in secret before that got picked, before we picked up that award. So, and we're so proud of the chief judge when he said, if I had to select an international flagship for New Zealand cuisine, Logan Brown would be hard to go past, because it really summed up what we aspire to do. We want people to be proud of New Zealand. Coming to Logan Brown, wanting to go away and say, wow, New Zealand cuisine's awesome. That's the winning team. There's a bottle of champagne down the bottom, it's equivalent to 16 bottles. Thanks to Euro Vintage for giving us that bottle of champagne. But that's just the Logan Brown team. So there's a lot of people involved in what we do down here. On the back of the success, we got further opportunities to contribute to the community and environment, and we especially got more active in measures to address climate change and global warming, and that was something that's really big in our minds, and it's a real worry. And I guess back in 2009 when we won the award, we had more opportunities, and we certainly got into that, and we joined up with Enviromark, which was a Greater Regional Council initiative in Wellington, and we went along with that and joined that, and that's something we get audited every year, and we've got a gold certificate for that, and we help develop conscious consumers and get that off the ground. And so this, over that period, was probably some golden years for us. The restaurant was pumping, and we got a lot of joy out of being involved in the community a lot more. And then a couple of years later, I guess all that contribution that we've been making to the community, but also the fact I think we brought a bit of glory to Wellington, and we're very proud of our hospitality scene here, and I think Wellingtonians are proud of our food scene, and I think they'd love to have another Wellington restaurant win the Restaurant of the Year, especially over those Aucklanders. So we got Wellington Business of the Year, then we got joint Wellingtonians Year, so it was a very, very proud time. So in 2012, Al sold out the rest of his shares. He needed to sever his ties with Wellington and continue his business up in Auckland, and everyone knows how fantastically well he's done, and well deserved too. He's a brilliant man, so, and such a hard worker and so passionate, so good on him. In 2014, we opened up a brother restaurant called Grill Meets Beer. So we just wanted to capitalise on Wellington's love of craft beer and the growth there, and we realised there was a lot of great craft beer bars around, but maybe not that many that serve awesome foods. So we wanted to bring Logan Brown kind of DNA across and serve wonderful food that goes very well with craft beer. So now we've turned our attentions back to Logan Brown. We realise that our vision of product perfection, inspiring people, is an attractive value or vision for people. You know, these days it's the trends, isn't it? All the consumers apparently care about the environment and care about how companies look after their team and what companies do in the community and these sorts of things. And I think you see it all the time. People are pushing that, but those are values that we've been, you know, been in our bones and blood ever since we opened the restaurant. But even so, it's time for us to reinvent ourselves and go through another kind of revolution to take us forward into the next 20 years. We've always seen ourselves as market leaders, and we want to get back to that space and be up front, discovering new and exciting and enjoyable dining experiences for our diners. We're asking ourselves, what is the next food revolution or next hospitality revolution? What's that unforgettable experience people want to see, yet feel, taste and want more of? And so we want to lead that. So and just next week, actually, all our leadership team, we've got a couple of days off and we're going over to Olivia's Hotel, and we're going to work with some in-design experts, and we're going to look at what that vision is going to be, what our purpose is going to be in taking Logan Brown forward into the next 20 years. So I might have a couple of slides about that. I'll just go and spare. I know I'm not supposed to advertise, but it's pretty nice, isn't it? And who knows what the food trends are going to be like in the future, but probably not that. But summing up, we've had an amazing 20 years caring for world leaders, sports stars, you know, the people from the arts and all sorts of famous people. And we've had we're very proud to bring hundreds of youngsters through the hospitality University of Logan Brown and you know, got amazing jobs and careers all around the world. And but as discussed, we've had some great business success and we've encountered many challenges. But what we've learned over all these years is that when we've had our greatest success, our vision has been front and centre, and everything we've done has been pointed towards the vision, and everything's gone beautifully. And in the times of challenge, that's invariably when we're looking the other direction. Thank you.